Welcome to another video. In today's video, we are in the 2014 Dodge Challenger RT. Starting off with the outward appearance of this vehicle, it definitely has the old muscle car look. I think out of all three muscle cars, Dodge has definitely nailed this one as far as with the retro styling. I mean, the front end definitely reminds you of the old Challengers, especially with the straps that you have going on along on this car. You know, the RT badging on the side, all the little things on this car, like the small Hemi badges on the hood. Then you have the RT up front, which stands for Road and Track. You know, just really is a nice big throwback to everything in the past, you know, late 1960s, you know, stuff like that. You know, this is definitely is a car that really brings that back, and everyone really loves the retro design of these. You know, the design has been around for a while, and you know, once you, I mean, you really can't get over it. It is definitely a big vehicle just looking out on the outside of it. And like I said, the true classic muscle car styling was definitely put in this vehicle. All in all, like I said, the Dodge Challenger definitely is a nice big throwback, and I think that if anyone is into muscle cars, they would definitely have a big love for this design like I do. Moving on into the interior of this 2014 Dodge Challenger RT, you know, it's definitely not the nicest place to be, but it definitely does have some creature comforts that are nice to have. Like you have a Bluetooth in here. Now your infotainment system right here is basically just a radio. It's nothing fancy. You have satellite radio, you have AM, FM. There's no navigation, anything like that. You basically have all your basic necessities. If you want to listen to music, you connect your phone by an auxiliary port. All of that is right there. You also have a hands-free calling service with Uconnect. This has a hands-free Uconnect service built in, so you know you can answer a phone call, something like that, if you would like to. It's all very convenient. Of course, you have your buttons on the steering wheel. The steering wheel is pretty nice, leather wrap. You know, easy to grip onto. You have some paddle shifters here, and I'll get back to this later because this is a 5-speed automatic. Then of course you have your gauges back there, and I really do like this gauge cluster because, you know, it has that very nice retro feel. Like I already talked about the outside of this vehicle, the inside of this vehicle also brings that together, along with the gauge cluster with the white, red, and black thing going on here with the gauge cluster. That also looks very nice. And then of course, moving on to the seats in this vehicle, the actual seats of this vehicle, being that it is a big car like I said beforehand, these seats in this vehicle are also pretty big. I'm about 5'9", 150 pounds, and you know, it's just, I have a lot of room to wiggle around. You know, the bolsters are here, but they're obviously for someone who's a little bit bigger. You know, they're not too hugging, so that is one thing to note, that you know, the seats are on the bigger side. Another thing with this vehicle, being that it is the biggest out of the three muscle cars, the Mustang, Camaro, and this being the Dodge Challenger, this is a muscle car, and having this back seat is actually the most usable, like I said, because it is the biggest, and you have a ton of room back there. Actually, I would say the most usable back seat. Along with this back seat, you also have the most usable trunk out of all of them, and this trunk is absolutely ginormous. I mean, compared to the Mustang, Camaro, and especially compared to the Camaro, which has the smallest trunk out of all three, the Dodge Challenger has a trunk that could compete with some sedans out on our market today. Also, with this being an older Challenger, before the Dodge refresh what they did the Charger and the Challenger, it is does have a lot of plastic in, you know, not too much soft touch material, you know, plastic on the doors and stuff like that, but it is to be expected because it is an affordable muscle car. You know, it's not meant to be anything luxurious, because this is more so meant to be, like I said, a throwback, a classic throwback to, you know, the older muscle cars of its past time and stuff like that. And I definitely think they nailed this. Like I said, with the outside of the design, with the interior of the car, it all just really flows together really nice, and I definitely really am a big fan of all of this. Alright, so now what we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to go ahead and take this vehicle on the road here. I'm going to go ahead and start it up. And of course, it has that Hemi under the hood right there, V8 engine, and it definitely sounds really good. Let's go ahead and take this vehicle on the road, and I'll tell you guys how it drives. We're now driving the 2014 Dodge Challenger RT. I'm going to go ahead and put the car in sport mode right here, and then step on it in first gear. So this definitely is a quick car. Got up to speed right there. Now this car does have around 375 horsepower, and it does have around 410 pound-feet of torque. Now this is the heaviest out of all three muscle cars. You can definitely hear that exhaust note behind me, but like I was saying, this is the heaviest out of all three muscle cars. It weighs around 4,082 pounds, and like I said, that is definitely a heavy number right there for around 375 horsepower. So I think 0 to 60 for this vehicle is around 5.2 seconds, something like that, which is still definitely respectable for a car that weighs so much. And like I said, you definitely do have that nice exhaust note that I'm hearing right now. I mean, these Hemis definitely do sound great. Just listening to that right there. And like I said, I just actually hit the gas right there, and if you watch any of my other videos, you know that I love when muscle cars do that little squat because they have so much power on them. You know, the way the suspension is set up, that thing just definitely just squatted. Muscle cars are definitely something that's not really for everyone, but if you do have the taste for it, you know, they're definitely a lot of fun. Everyone loves to hear them. Everyone loves to see them drive by. I'm gonna go ahead and get on the gas here one more time. Here we go, first gear. Gave it a little chirp there. Now, like I said, this is a 5-speed automatic, and you know, it's definitely not the fastest nor you know, high-tech automatic that you can find today. You know, of course, now we have 8-speed and 10-speed automatic transmissions that are being made, and this is only, like I said, a 5-speed, but it definitely does get the job done. See, I just downshifted right there, and it just tripped the tires right there. You know, it definitely shifts really hard, and that's how it's tripping the tires and stuff like that. And it, like I said, it has a lot of power too. 410 pound-feet of torque. Thinking definitely get up and move with no problem. And now I'm cruising on this road doing about 45 miles an hour here, right at the speed limit. And you know, you can feel the bumps, but like a lot of people do say about these vehicles, they definitely are the cruiser out of the three muscle cars. When I say being the cruiser, the suspension setup on these things from the factory are really nice, stock, smooth. You can definitely take a long road trip on these things, no problem. And I definitely do feel that, you know, honestly, a weird kind of urge just to keep driving in this vehicle. You know, of course, you might not want to take too many turns and stuff because, you know, these things really aren't set up for that. And I will actually drive the car in a second here and tell you guys how it does on the back roads. But you know, just driving here on a straight road like this, not too many bumps, you know, isn't the smoothest roads at all in the world. But you know, like I said, you know, definitely a car that you'd want to take on a road trip with all the room that you have. Now this car does get around 15 miles to the gallon, 25 city, so you know, that isn't too bad. It isn't too good. That's right there with the Mustang GT. So like I said, 375 horsepower with a car that weighs this much. And like you guys have seen, this car is not that aerodynamic, so of course, you know, that's not really helping. But it is kind of what you expect with, you know, a car that's being this heavy. And like I said, this is a true muscle car. You know, it's what people would see as almost kind of the last muscle car that's left around. I'm gonna go ahead and downshift here and get on it. And I did a little roll on right there in third, and you know, it didn't really move that much, but you know, it's still a lot of fun to have. You know, hearing that engine behind me or hearing the exhaust note behind me is definitely a nice sound. Now we're gonna go ahead and start taking some turns here in the 2014 Dodge Challenger RT. Go ahead and get on the power here. Now this is a big vehicle, and you definitely do feel the weight. That wasn't the sharpest turn right there that I just took, but you definitely do feel the weight of this vehicle. It's nothing light. Like I said, it is 4,082 pounds, and you know, it's the heaviest out of all three. A lot of people make jokes about these cars being giant boats and stuff like that. They are heavy, and a lot of people that own these cars, they don't really care because they just love the feeling that they get. Like I already said, you know, this really makes you have the feeling of an old muscle car, and all that power that I just got right there in second gear, just really opening up this Hemi V8 just sounds really nice. Go ahead, take another turn right here. And you know, it handled it pretty decent. You know, it's what you would expect for this amount of weight. It doesn't feel that planted. It doesn't feel, you know, like it's gonna also flip over the road. It feels, you know, like you have the body roll, and honestly, you can tell what the car is gonna do. It's not like I feel like this car is too unpredictable or anything like that. I can definitely feel what this car is doing on the road. So concluding my time with the 2014 Dodge Challenger RT, I definitely can tell you that it is a fast and fun big car that definitely does take you back in a way where it makes you feel like you're driving something older. I definitely really do like the feels, the looks of this vehicle. You know, it's definitely something I would actually think about getting into myself, probably over the Camaro. Now, of course, I do own a Mustang myself, but like I said, definitely is a car that's really looking into getting to. Not for everyone, but it does, like I said, has different feels and whatnot for it. And, you know, just all around a really nice car. If you like these videos, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications for when I make new posts, and I'll see you guys in another video.